Okay, in this video we're going to take a look at offsets and tapers. So we're going to look at single offset entire element, single offset partial, variable offset taper, and ratio offset taper. Okay, so we're going to be in the horizontal geometry introduction drawing, like we have been with all of these. We're going to be under open roads modeling, geometry, and then underneath of geometry, we're going with the horizontal tools. The horizontal tools, like I mentioned, there are 4 different types underneath here where you can do the entire element, part of an element, or you can do a taper or a ratio offset taper. So we're going to look at this single offset entire element first. Once you select that tool, you can fill in the dialog if you would like. So let's say that we're going to offset 100. So we'll key in 100, enter that in. You can also do spiral transitions with this one. So if you have spirals out there, it will also allow that. Okay, mirror would put it on both sides of the alignment. And you can remove the offset rule now in ORD. So right now there's a rule set when you offset a particular element, that there's a rule that says you're always 100 foot off of this alignment. So if the alignment changes, also does the offset. It goes right along with it. But you can remove that rule now by checking this dialog. Feature definitions. Again, we can go in and choose a feature definition from here, or we can set it up in our feature definition toggle bar, which is underneath the standards feature definition toolbar. So if you set it up here, and we go to linear, design, we'll try geometry and geometry scratch. And then we'll turn that on. Once you turn that on in the main dialog, everything you draw from here on should take on the active feature of geometry scratch. Okay, so let's go try this tool, single offset entire element. You come out here and select the element that you want to offset. And right now we've got 100 locked in, so you can either do the left or the right. I'm going to do the right. And left click, and it says no mirror. If you wanted it also on the left, and you would say yes, and we'll accept the no mirror. So here's the offset rule. When you left click on the line that you offset, you've got the information in here, this 100 foot. So you can change that. You can change it to be something like 50. The entire element will change. If you modify the original line work, that line will go with it. Okay. If we come into single offset entire element, we keep it at the 100, but we're going to turn off this remove offset rule. We're going to go to the left side this time and accept it. If we take a look at that, now you can see that it's created basically its own new alignment out there based on this alignment. So if I were to move this alignment, the bottom one now goes with it, but the top one now does not, because we removed that rule. Alright. The next tool that we have in there is the single offset partial, which is just like the one before that we looked at. It's got the remove rule, it's got the offset distance, but down here at the bottom you've got a start and end distance or station that you can do that, and you can also give it a length if you want. Feature definition should be available for you as well. So let's say that we're going to offset this one 200 feet. We'll go ahead and leave the offset rule turned on, so we won't check it. And basically you can come out and pick that white line again, and you can tell it where you want to start. So right now it's doing 200 foot on the right, so you can come down and select a location to start it, and then as you move along you can left click a location to end it. Okay, you can use all kinds of tools with this. You can use snaps, you can use Civil AccuDraw, or you can fill out the dialog to do that and give it the distance. Okay, so that one is fairly simple. We had that offset rule turned on, so the beginning and the end and the middle are all tied to that white element. One thing to know about the single offset entire and single offset partial is when you go change the middle one, the middle length or distance of 200 foot, that will change the whole entire offset. If you change one end or the other, say that 200 foot, and you make that 100 at the end, it's going to taper it from 200 down to 100, and it's also going to give you the ratio. So it's kind of like doing the next couple of tools just by changing the beginning or the end. Also, at the beginning and the end of this one, since this is a partial, you have the ability to slide with the triangle. You can slide that information. You can also key in a different length. So pick that last option that's got the end station or end length on it, and you can modify it that way. You can also click on the arrow that's going away from the center line and move it further out or closer. And you can do that on both ends. Okay, the next tool then that you have in there in offset and tapers is this variable offset taper. The only real difference in this one from the last tool is that you have a start and an end offset. So if you wanted to go 50 feet at the start, enter that in, and by the end you want to be at, say, 200. You can end that, and you can mirror it again. This one doesn't appear to have the ability to turn off the offset rule currently in that. You can customize these things just by right clicking, and you can see that it is turned off here. Okay, so we can display anything we want there and save that, and then the next time you use this tool it should appear in there. So that's a right click in here, customize, and you can turn on things that currently aren't being displayed. Okay, so it's however you want to do it, or you don't have to display it in there. You can actually do it right from here. Okay, so we've got a 50 to start, a 200 to end. We can fill in the other information we want here. We're going to left click on the white line. So wherever we start, we've got 50 foot. And we'll left click. And wherever we end, we've got 200 feet. And we can left click. And then no mirror on that. So we've got a single offset variable where it will actually start at one distance and end at another. Okay, the last one in here that we'll take a look at for offset and tapers is the ratio offset taper. So the only difference with this is the start offset, then it's given a ratio. Okay, you can do that also out here on the screen when it asks. So in this case, I won't fill anything out on the dialog, and we'll see what the heads up asks us. So we come out here on the screen, left click on that white line. The first thing it asks for is a start. So we're going to click a start point. Our end ratio or end parameter, as you move out here, you can actually give it an end location and that ratio will fill in. If you know the ratio, you can key it in. And it is a 1 colon and then the ratio number. So as we get closer to the element, you'll see that number decreases. And it increases as you go out. So we can left click to place the end of that and no mirror it. Okay, once again, when you select on that item, you've got the distance away and the distance away and then the taper, which you can modify here. 1 colon 10. And you can enter that in. So that's got just a colon in between them. Okay, that's your offset and your tapers.